Hello and welcome back to the Jerusalem Post. I'm your host, Tamar Uriel-Beeri, joined today by Elena Yacov and Nimrod Palmach. Elena is the executive director of the TalkIsrael Foundation, and Nimrod is the CEO of Israel Is. Elena, Nimrod, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank
So
you.
why don't you both tell us what each of your organizations does? Elena, let's start with you.
Thanks, Tamar. So Talk Israel is a nonprofit, and our mission is really to positively change the conversation about Israel online using the power of social media. We did a lot of research, and there's a lot of research going around that American teens, American in general, but American teens don't know much about Israel. And what they do know mostly comes from negative content, maybe sometimes false content that they see online. So really, our mission was to change that, to change those perceptions that worsened after October 7, obviously, and really raise the next generation of content creators who can talk about Israel in a meaningful way, in an inspiring way, in a way that will resonate with younger American audiences that really want to learn about Israel and know more about it. And the way we do it is through our free programs and educational experiences, workshops, and also by producing our own original content with our network of creators that include big influencers as well as our alums and aspiring creators.
That's so important. That's really where the fight is right now. Nimrod, what do you guys do over there?
So it's an Israeli-based NGO, first founded back in 2017. And the main goal was to give young Israelis the ability to share their stories around the world. It's really effective where Israelis finish their service to the army and then by themselves, they travel all over the world. But when you get to different places, India, South America, America, even Europe, Israelis are not equipped of answering difficult questions. And we figured out that if you give them really simple tools, number one is the awareness that you're going to face both anti-Semitism or difficult questions like, what have you done in the army? What have you done in Gaza? What have you done in the West Bank, etc.? And we want to give people both the awareness it's going to happen. Secondly, the motivation to react and to engage. And the third one is to give them basic tools. So Israel is here to better improve Israel image in the world. And like Talk Israel, we work with the young people and we focus on the positive and on the shared goals and values.
So you two really, really align in the different projects that you have, and now the two of you have a mutual project. So Nimrod, why don't you tell us a little bit about Creator Lab?
The Creator Lab was founded in order to give young people the ability to share their personal stories in Israel via social media. What we're trying to do, we're trying to take people who are in the beginning of their professional, I would say, way of operating in social media. And instead of just say, let's talk about my shampoo or the chocolate I ate yesterday, let's try to take it on a different level and to twist it a bit and to share how is life here is in Israel. You can talk about your niche, your chocolate or your gym or whatever you'd like to do, but try to emphasize the life in Israel because most of the people in the world, definitely Gen Zs, have never been to Israel, keep hearing bad things about us, which are not true, and have no clue that life in Israel is sometimes simple, pretty, and fun as everywhere in the world. We have parties, we have music, we have so much thing that other youth around the world would like to do. The Creator Lab is here to collect this talent bunch of, let's say, 30 young adults. We want to give them, we want to train them, we want to empower them, we want to give them tools of how to be social media influencers. But again, our methodology, both Talk Israel and Israel is not to tell you what to say, is not to combat anti-Semitism. What we want to do, we want you to share your own story with your own niche, and we believe it will have a tremendous effect in the world.
Amazing. So Elena, how do you choose those that you bring for the Creator Lab project?
Great question. So to kind of touch on what Nimrod was talking about, I think That first of all, we've learned through some research we conducted that American teens and young adults are very interested in learning about the daily life of Israelis. You know, we asked them what is the word that is most connected to Israel. You know, they said war, they said oil, they said desert. They said a lot of things that really showed us that they don't know a lot about Israel, but they also said that they're interested in learning. So we're really bringing to the forefront the voices of those young people who reside in Israel. They don't have to be Israelis. Some of them are from all over the world. We have participants from Brazil and Romania and Nigeria and all over the world who are interested in posting on social media because not everyone is interested in posting. Some people just like scrolling. So we're really looking for people who are interested in doing that, who have the talent in doing that, something that we identify, both of our teams identify as having potential to grow their niche and build their brand on social media, and really bringing to the forefront their unique perspective and diverse voices, and also really helping them build their niche. So like Nimrod said, some of them are interested in food, some in music. We had a great photographer in our last cohort. So everyone is interested in something else and they want to talk about something else, but also on the back end of all that, they're also passionate about Israel. They're passionate about their life there. They're passionate about their identity as Jews living in Israel or Israelis. So we really help them emphasize and bring this to the forefront. And of course, they have to speak great English because our audience is outside of Israel. And we're very lucky to have a great turnaround of participants, especially after October 7th. I feel like a lot of people really realize the importance of their voice and that they ultimately have a free platform on social media to express themselves and express their voices for themselves, but also for the country they love. And that's what they're doing. And that's what we're helping them to do in the program.
It certainly sounds like you're giving them the tools to take the doom out of doom scrolling. So I do have a question for both of you. What goal ultimately, in short, would you hope to achieve through the project? So Nimrod, why don't you go ahead?
So I think it's impact of numbers. We understand that social media is the ability to affect people from all over the world. And like Elena said, we have people from different countries talking different language. Their main is English, but even others. And for me, a goal is to impact as many people, as many young people in the world. Maybe even the awareness or the question that maybe Israel is not what I've learned that is to be. Maybe there is something else about it. Maybe I can research a bit. Maybe I can even engage in a question. And also, Gen Zs, in my beliefs and opinion, have the most amazing tools to succeed in life. They're different. They have a lot of abilities. I know a lot of people are blaming Gen Zs for all kinds of faults and wrongs, but I love Gen Zs and I believe they have a lot of power. And they have a lot.
That's a very refreshing point of view.
I really believe that. And I think that one of my goals is to give, again, to empower these young people, is like building engines that will eventually lead the entire train. We want to build these engines, and you can never know what will come up from this cohort. We are now, by the way, in the second one. We finished the first one a few months back. And this is my second goal, to empower these young people, because that's the way in leadership. You invest, and you can never know what will go from this group.
Amazing. Elena, what do you think? What are your thoughts? What's your goal ultimately?
So absolutely agree with Nimrod. I think we're very mission aligned, goal aligned, and that's why this partnership is so successful and great. Really, we are building a community here. We're not building an army. We're not building a mission of advocates. We're building a community of young people who care about Israel, care about their identity, who are proud of it, and they want to make an impact on the conversation about these topics. And hopefully somebody who's today scrolling Instagram and seeing some of this content is going to be, the next leader, the next politician, the next policymaker, and will have influence and will remember that, oh my God, I saw this fantastic guy, Ola from Nigeria, talking about how much he loves Tel Aviv and Israel. So maybe it is a great place to explore and look into. So really, I think building this community is something that we aspire for with the hopes that it will change the conversation about Israel.
So, Nimrod, if you had to give someone a super short lesson on what it means to tell your Israeli story, what would your top tips be?
Number one, it's stay authentic. Authenticity, that's what works. And no matter what, if you think the story has to be, a big plot or an interesting angles, it doesn't. Just talk what you experienced, and it's the best way. I give you an example. We can talk for hours about what it means to live in Israel when we are under attack, when we are being fired at rockets. And a young girl can just take her camera, and during an attack, running to shelter, she can just tell how she feels, what she felt when it happened. And the effect it can have on people is tremendous, is unbelievable. Or a soldier that just finished his service can share a unique story, just something that happened to him while he was serving. It has a tremendous effect. Stay personal, stay short, give examples, and it does the work. That's my belief. Always start with
Bring them
story.
into your life, put them in your shoes, right?
Exactly. It brings empathy out of people.
It's the most human thing in the world. So, Elena, what about you? What tips would you give if you were to summarize the Talk Israel method to create a positive and constructive dialogue about Israel among, say, American teens?
So, like Nimrod said, I think that personal storytelling is very important. You have to really talk about what you're experiencing, what you're going through, what you're feeling at a certain situation. And that really, people connect to people. So that is really what is going to make the most impact. Also, promoting the cultural understanding, realizing that some people don't understand why you respond in a certain way to a certain situation. Some people see things a little bit differently. So maybe there's a room where you can explain to them why things are the way they are, why things are more nuanced than what they're used to, why the situation is a little bit more complex than what they might have seen on TV or in other forms of content they consume. And also, I think it's very important to establish similarities. Even though we're different, we're also similar in a lot of ways. We like music, we like food, we like fashion. We like going out to parties and bars, and we have great restaurants. And I think people really resonate with that. And people say, oh my God, this is so amazing that this person across the world is really interested in something that I like, in something that I'm interested in. And I think these little personal human moments is really what is going to create the difference and make the difference and create a change.
But nevertheless, social media has been really a hotbed, not only for anti-Israel content, but for outright anti-Semitic content. How would you say your model overcomes this challenge?
Like Nimrod said in the beginning, I think that we're not here to sell Israel. We're not here to tell people, oh my God, it's bad to hate Jews. That's really not the point. The point is to put at the forefront the voices that will make people understand why hating Jews doesn't really make sense, why hating Israelis doesn't really make sense, because we're all alike, we're all having similar experiences, we all, as I said, like the same things. So we're really trying to bridge the cultural divides. And by doing that, it's going to eliminate a lot of the hate we're seeing online. For example, we have one of our participants in the current cohort is somebody who grew up in Chicago, Illinois, and she was exposed to a lot of anti-Semitism. She came from a very small Jewish community. She almost didn't have any Jews in her school. And then she made Aliyah to Israel, and she started this blog called the Jewish Princess Diaries. And she's basically talking to all of her friends in America who are non-Jewish, and she's telling them, listen, guys, this is how I spend my time here. This is what I do for work. These are my interests. And then it makes them understand and realize, oh my God, this is kind of similar to what we like, and really bridging divides. Another great example is a guy we have in the program. His name is Josh. He came from South Africa, which is a country that, experienced an apartheid regime. And when there's conversations online about apartheid and, people calling Israel an apartheid state, he's the kind of person that says, hey, listen, my experience is very different. And I know I came from a country that had an apartheid regime, and it's really different. So you don't really know what you're talking about. And I think by doing all that, this really is what fights hate and anti-Semitism and makes people realize that it's just uncalled for.
Nimrod, I'll pass it back to you for one last question. While it's good to spread the Israeli story, we're faced today with so much pushback by those who are opposed entirely to understanding our side, instead only looking at Israelis as occupiers and colonizers. So how does Israel work against that mentality, that kind of harsh black and white pushback?
So thank you for this question. In my philosophy, some, even little part of the good triumph the bad. And we want to spread as much as good and light as we can in social media. And in my belief, it really helps. And I want to give you a more, another answer. In my opinion, around 10 to 20% are really against Israel. They're eventually the minority, a real loud minority. But these are the ones you see demonstrating against Israel, comparing Israel to Nazis and this craziness. This is a really minority. And then you have around 10% that are favored to Israel. Great, we love them. We need to continue the relationship with them. We need to empower and to strengthening this relationship. Eventually, we have around 70%, which they're the majority. They are, in my opinion, our target audience. And they are, as we speak, sitting on the fence, on the gray zone. And it's almost metaphysical law. They will have to push to the Palestinian side or to the anti-Israeli side or to the anti-Semitism side, even out of knowledge, out of lack of knowledge, or they will push almost automatically to be against Israel. And I think our job is to target audience, to target this audience and to expose them to Israel as we see it. And in my opinion, it works. Again, these are people that have never been to Israel, just heard bad things about Israel via news. They think Israel is an enormous country, have no idea it's such a tiny country. They think Jews are by the, I don't know, dozens of millions around the world. And that's why we have to work with social media. We have to never give up. I'll give you an example. I walk with my kids in the street and I pick up a can of Coca-Cola from the street and throw it to the garbage. And my son asked me, but why did you do it? There is so much other cans around the floor. And I told him, but now it's one cleaner. It's one less dirtier. And it helps, even though it looks like an endless battle.
Amazing. It's truly, the battlefield of today. Elena, Nimrod, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.